Okay. Here we go. Hi folks, welcome. It's episode 1 of the YouTube show. It's exciting. Another way, living a more creative life. Yes! That's me trying to get you excited. I'm your host, KJ Bell, and today we're talking about beginnings. I don't know why I said it like that. So beginnings are hard. Beginnings are one of the trickiest things to, well, it's the trickiest thing, I think, to getting anything, any goal, any project you want to have completed. First you have to start it. And that's hard sometimes because there's so many reasons not to. So many reasons not to start something. And let me tell you, I am the king of justifying not starting something. Take this, for instance. So, I had the idea for Another Way, the whole principle, the whole kibosh, many moons ago. Over a year ago. And I thought, it'll be a podcast, and it'll be YouTube, and then I'll do workshops eventually sometime, at some point. And I thought, I have to get everything going. I have to get it all, and it has to go and all get released at once, and I have to have everything set and ready to go. And it's great if you want to do it that way. But at the end of the day, you just have to start. So this video, this episode 1 video right now, I'm recording this many weeks after I recorded the first episode of the podcast, which you can find in the description below, or if I can figure out how to do one of those things where I like put it here or on my face, or there's a button somewhere, I'll figure that out. Maybe, some point, I don't know. But anyway, one of the biggest things I've learned as a writer, and as a musician, but mostly as a writer, I considered myself a writer for many years before I actually got serious about it, because I fell victim to this thing that we have in our culture where it's this idea of the artist sitting in their studio and just waiting for inspiration to come and just waiting for it to happen, and they just sit there and then it strikes and then they furiously scribble for 50 pages of just wonderful words, or they paint and it just happens magically. And we just have this idea that they get struck and it happens, and it's beautiful, and there's no work involved. Well, very little work involved is the perception. And that is not true. Sometimes it happens like that, and it's fantastic when it does. It feels so good when you have a day like that. But for the most part, any sort of work, any sort of worthwhile creating of whatever, means you're sitting somewhere and you're writing, or you just have to start doing it, and a lot of it is going to be crap. That's the biggest thing I learned, is that in order to edit something, you have to actually write it. And I know that some of you are like, well, duh. But how many times have you, like, the paper that you had to write in college or in high school, and you're like, and you just think about it all day, you just think about it for weeks and weeks, and then it's like, oh, I have to actually write the thing. Because we tend to think that if we're planning, we're doing something. And we are, but not really. Like I said, I planned this for a year, and I'm finally actually doing it. Now how long it takes for this video to actually get put into the computer and then edited and put up on the YouTube, we'll see how long that takes. But the point is I'm recording right now, so that's a good thing. I've started doing this finally. You should start whatever you want to do. And the entire point of this journey that's called life and creating is to just be more creative. We're a creative species. Doesn't matter if you're an artist, if you're a writer, if you're a musician, if you're a painter, if you're an accountant, if you're a rocket scientist. We can all be more creative. So we just have to start doing something. And I'll give you a little tip that I stole from somewhere. That's what a lot of this is. It's just stuff that I've stolen and I'm now just giving to you out there. There's 2 fantastic books that changed... This is 4. This is 2. Or this is 2. There's 2 fantastic books that changed my life. And one of them is Writing Down the Bones by Natalie Goldberg. See, this is the dust jacket. This isn't the actual book because I'm rereading the actual book, so it's on my nightstand, which is not in this room. So here's the dust jacket. And in this book, she introduces the idea of writing practice, which is where you just set the pen to the paper and you go. And her thing is you put a timer on, like you go 10 minutes, and sometimes you have a topic and sometimes you don't. Sometimes you say, I'm going to go for 10 minutes on everything I know about tacos. And you write about tacos for 10 minutes. And maybe in minute 5 you go, I don't want to write about tacos anymore. The only rule is you don't stop the pen. And I think that's a fantastic tool for whatever you do, because it helps you to figure out things about yourself. I'm going to put this down now. Doing that helps you to... I always tell people it holds the mirror up to yourself and helps you delve deeper into who you are as a human being and as an artist. And that is scary. But it's also essential. Trust me. Trust me. I mean, I don't know why you would. I don't even trust me sometimes, but you know, give it a shot. So, start. Whatever you want to do, that thing that you've been putting off forever because you're like, well, I'll do it when I have time. No, start it. Wake up 10 minutes earlier. Stay up 10 minutes later. Give up 10 minutes of your lunch hour. 5 minutes. Doesn't have to be 10. 5 minutes. 5 minutes every day. I always tell my students, 5 minutes of practice every day is so much better than doing it an hour once a week. I'm telling you people. So start. Start. So you can subscribe to the channel, whichever direction that button is. You can find links in the description to my website, horizoncreativestudio.com, where you can find episodes of the podcast that you can subscribe to on iTunes, where we go deeper into the same subjects. And you can follow me on Twitter, maybe, again, Bubble, maybe, possibly. You can follow me on Twitter and on Instagram at thatkjbell. Like that one, like me. Like this one, except it's not this, it's that. Like that guy over there. So do it. And join me every Monday for a new video on a new topic. And the podcast comes out on Tuesdays. So do that. Oh, it's over.